Let's go to Sunday Night Football.
Let's.
Denver Broncos, 27. Washington Commanders, 26. Overtime win for Denver, who moves to 10-2. Commanders fall to 3-9. It all came down to a 2-point conversion. Broncos scored first in overtime to go up 27-20. All sorts of stuff happened, but the Commanders score a touchdown to make it 27-26. They go for 2 for the win, but a Nick Bonito.
And they had it.
Batted pass. It was a great scheme.
The play worked. It was open.
Nick Bonito batted pass, saved the game. It was the whole, you've got trips to that one side, you got the running back. Opposite the trip side, Kyle Shanahan runs this with McCaffrey all the time in the red zone. I could see it coming. Jeremy McNichols, they run him out. So 4 out to the flat, and it's wide open. Mariota goes to throw the game-winning touchdown, 2-point conversion to McNichols, but Bonito, Dikembe Mutombo swats it to save the game.
All you got to do is get it past the unblocked guy, and he couldn't do it. Nick Bonito jumps up, bats it down with his arms, game over.
What a game this was. Pretty entertaining.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, you've got the overtime was crazy. Both teams with a bunch of big plays. I mean, Denver's was like uneventful. They just marched down the field. Evan Engram just destroyed Bobby Wagner, a little like jerk right over the middle. I mean, Bobby's good player.
He made Bobby look our age.
Yeah,
on that.
Bobby's a good player, but doesn't move the way he used to. And when a guy's going to make you move in the wrong direction and then go back in the other direction, and that guy runs like a 4.5, you're in trouble. And Bobby was in deep trouble in that play.
That's the thing about aging linebackers. I feel like people have been calling for Bobby Wagner being old for 4 or 5 years now. And overall, he's a very good player, right?
Right.
Usually in the right place, the right spot. But if you get him isolated one-on-one with a pretty athletic tight end like Evan Engram, that type of thing happens.
Yeah, like two things are true at the same time. He can still be a good player, but also be a liability in the wrong situation. That old thought of like the first yard is in your head when you're like people – always say that about soccer players. Like, it doesn't matter if they slow down. Like, the first yard's in his head. He's so experienced. Even if he's lost a yard of pace, he sets off a yard earlier, so it offsets, right? I mean, that's true to an extent when you're playing linebacker in the NFL, but also there are times where the first yard is actually on the field, and if that happens, you're done. But anyway, like Denver's drive was uneventful. They smoked Bobby Wagner. They got themselves in great situation. They just scored comfortably. Then you get Washington trying to answer, and you've got all kinds of craziness. You've got like, oh, we failed. No, it's a penalty, and madness. To finish.
Commanders score what looked like a touchdown.
Yep.
Negated by a penalty. It's
holding.
3rd and long, a holding. And then they hit another bomb to Deebo Samuel, who is down at the goal line. Then both teams also just looked exhausted in this game. So there's a 3rd down pass to Zach Ertz. I say tie the game, but to get within 1 to set up the 2-point conversion. Ertz drops the ball in the end zone, and he's been really dependable. He had a key 4th and 6 catch. Like, he had made some huge plays in this game. Ertz dropped the 3rd down would-be touchdown for Mariota. And then in the 4th down, little pick play, Terry McLaurin on Patrick Surtain, touchdown to make it 27-26. And remember the overtime rules here. We're into playoff rules here. So first team, Broncos went down and scored the touchdown. Washington has a chance to match. There's plenty of debate about whether or not you should take the ball or to kick. A lot of people like to kick because you get that second option. You get to know what you're chasing, and you get to do it with all 4 downs, and you also get the 2-point decision.
That's why I think you want that dynamic.
You get the decision to go for 2 to win the game.
Yeah.
If you get the ball first, theoretically, because if like Washington just kicked the extra point and it's tied, then it's sudden death, and the advantage obviously is in the Broncos' favor. They get the ball and field goal wins it.
Nobody's ever going for 2 if they score the touchdown and they took the ball first. Nobody's going default. Let's try and get 8 points. They're going to kick the point, and then you automatically, the team matches. If they match with a touchdown, they're probably going for 2, because at that point you're going to have chewed 7 minutes off the clock. We're running down time, and it's sudden death, so they want to end the game. So I think that's still the advantage, is to take it second.
And that's what's really interesting about this, right? I remember telling the story on the show where there was a coach who's like, we had the best 2-point play ready to go in this very key situation. And Cliff Kingsbury in Washington could say that as well. Like, we had the play. The play was there.
Yeah.
But you had an unblocked defender who just batted it, right?
I mean, sometimes the other team just makes the play.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. You mentioned Treylon Burks. I mean, Washington played hard, man. Like,
what a catch.
Broncos are a better team. Their defense played hard, Washington. Better than they had been for much of the season, where they looked like one of the worst defenses in the league. But also Treylon Burks, picked him up from the Titans, trying to rejuvenate his career. Incredible. It was the only catch of the game, but 5-yard touchdown. One-handed, awesome catch by him.
Amazing catch. Yeah, with Riley Moss as the coverage guy. Those people kept joking they Moss. Just an amazing catch by him. Really one of the few good things he's done in the NFL. But a huge play at a key moment for them. And Washington, their defense played well, but their offensive game plan was working as well. They were able to run the ball pretty well against this Denver defense. They were causing them real problems in that area. And then they were getting the ball out quickly for the most part. And that was working as well. So, this one of the league's best defenses in Denver, for a lot of this game, they weren't stopping Washington.
Those were the two things. Like, Sean Payton chose to punt twice in the fourth quarter. The first time it worked. The second time, it was like on his own 35 with a 3-point lead. It wasn't crazy. But the Commanders, man, with 3 officiating calls going against them.
Yeah.
And on a fourth quarter game-tying drive, the Commanders had
at least one of which
a tripping call.
Yeah. At least one of which the whoever the guy, Terry McCauley, was like, that's just outright incorrect by rule.
That was the grounding call.
Yes. He's like, that's not by rule grounding. Like, you almost never hear the rules analysts be like, that's just a blown call.
So
they just screwed that up.
So here was the drive. They go 18 plays, 71 yards. That doesn't include the 15 that they lost from from penalties. So it was really 86 yards against one of the best defenses in the league. And by the way, high-level storyline here, this was probably the best any team did against Denver's pass rush.
Yeah.
Denver's pass rush.
They took it away for a huge
if you're
part
watching the game, if you're a fan watching the Broncos, you have anxiety watching your quarterback in the pocket, where when they rush 4, it feels like they're rushing 6. When they rush 6, it feels like they're rushing 12. I mean, it's anxiety inducing, and you didn't have that at all in this game from Washington. I know Benito made that final big play,
but that was one of 2 pressures in the game that he had, I think.
Yeah, and so Washington did a great job in pass pro, generally just blocking it up and creating enough time and space. And it wasn't like all quick hitters from Mariota. Like, he had enough time to get the ball down the field a few times. But on that final drive, the tripping call was fascinating, right? Because Mariota gets tripped illegally and then breaks free from it, picks up a gain, and they miss the contact from the trip initially. And then the replay assist is like, no, he was touched.
Yeah.
So he's down. So it's like a 15-yard loss.
Right. How was he touched?
But how was he touched? By illegal tripping, which you're not allowed to overturn. So they missed a tripping call in favor of the Broncos. Then the grounding thing. My intentional grounding soapbox is back. It was insane.
Well, that was one where it's like, by the spirit of the law, that shouldn't be grounding. And apparently by the letter of the law, it also shouldn't be grounding.
So what happened was, same drive, Mariota's in the pocket. He's facing pressure, which is part of the rule here. McLaurin falls down, and then much later, Mariota throws it well over McLaurin's head, but, to nobody. Like, he's clearly trying to throw the ball away.
Yeah.
So that's where, like, the spirit of the law might absolve this. But, like, when you throw it over an intended receiver's head, no matter how high you throw it, that's considered a receiver in the area.
And also, it looked like McLaurin was about to adjust vertically and didn't, kind of like threaten to go deep on the scramble drill, and then really didn't.
It's just such
But the main point being, McCauley came out and said, by rule, if a guy is outside the numbers, it's never grounding.
And this is the same one that happened with Russ in Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs earlier this year. Everybody was hooked up at the goal line, and he threw the ball into the third row. But theoretically, no matter how high it is, it's still over the head of an eligible receiver. Therefore, like, he's in the area. You just, missed him high. That's what happened with Mariota. And McCauley was like, no, it's a bad call.
Yeah.
And
like, not just a bad call, but like incorrect by rule.
But it was so bad that later, like a later pass, Mariota had a miscommunication where it looked like he sailed everybody, And even though he wasn't under pressure, it's like you could call that grounding too. It's the same thing. He sailed everybody. So now you have to make the miscommunication judgment call. Neither one should have been grounding. And then they called a false start too. That probably shouldn't have been. Anyway, Commanders overcame all of that against this great Broncos
and
defense.
a terrible Mariota interception. Like the one really glaring mistake he made in the game.
I'm just talking
awful.
I'm just talking about on the game-tying drive in the fourth quarter, they overcame those 3 penalties. And yeah, Mariota, I thought played pretty well overall, minus a couple decisions. That interception being one of them.
That was horrendous. But like they overcame significant stuff and still could have won the game, but for one ridiculous play by Benito.
So Benito saves the game for Denver. And, you know, they did – Sean Payton does have, I think, this feel for games on the line. I thought Chris was highlighting it pretty well. I thought they called timeouts before the end of the half really early to make sure that they had an end of the half opportunity, and they scored a touchdown. Really nice touchdown by Bo Nix falling over to Cortland Sutton with 28 seconds left. So I think like Sean Payton's game management from that perspective I thought was excellent. And then it's all like he's very calculated. It's like they get into overtime. What are your best plays? Evan Ingram, the Joker, on Bobby Wagner. They isolate him, and they'd done it a bunch, but that was a 41-yarder that helped set up the eventual game-winning touchdown. So I thought Sean Payton, Bo Nix, they did a good job managing things. Nix had an awful interception to Bobby Wagner that helped kind of keep Washington in the game, but that was pretty good otherwise.
A bunch of players back for this game. Terry McLaurin is back for the first time, apparently on a snap count, so not like 100% back, because the last time they put him back in, he hurt himself almost immediately. Patrick Surtain, the second, back in the game as well, obviously a hugely important player for that defense. And Alex Singleton back as well, the linebacker for Denver. And they made a really good job of explaining his situation. He was out to have a cancerous tumor removed that they discovered by accident because it turned out his testosterone level was high when they just gave him random testing, and then they investigated further and like, oh, that's cancer. So he ends up playing a game after the initial diagnosis, didn't tell his teammates.
This was before the Thursday night game against the Raiders.
Yeah, then had the surgery.
The game, then surgery.
And now back in the lineup. And he made a couple of massive plays in the game. I mean, there's
It looked like the game saver to Ertz.
Yeah, deep shot down the seam to Ertz. That's a catch. It's in his hands, and Singleton dives from behind, gets a hand in there, breaks it up. I mean, that's would or should have been a game-ending, game-saving play, only for the craziness and then followed it.
I wrote down game-saving play, except 100 other crazy things happened after that. But it was incredible play, but an incredible story by Singleton, and a great job by the Sunday Night Football crew conveying and telling that story. Mm-hmm. So 27-26, it was a more competitive game, better game than I had anticipated. Denver moves to 10-2. Good on Washington, playing hard, finishing things out, but they're obviously done. Denver sitting here at 10-2, technically winning the tiebreaker over New England as of right now.
The 1 seed.
The number 1 seed right now. New England plays tonight against the Giants. Denver has the tiebreaker because of they have the best winning percentage in common games. We're going to get into some fun tiebreakers for this year. 10-2 Broncos survive in Washington.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?